Hello, welcome to Talking About Speedway. Con Migro and Graeme Sinden with you. A big weekend of Speedway coming up this weekend, the Western Apollos event, the WA Speedcar title and the return of sprint cars to the Perth Motorplex.
Yes, well, 30 cars have nominated in the sprint cars again, and already we've seen what happened from the get-go with Callum Williamson coming right out of the blocks and winning the opening feature race. Dane Kingshot had a bit of trouble. He was sent to the back of the bus and had to fight his way through to finish in fifth position. And then we saw Caden Manders, who set a blistering sub 13-second lap in his first night out in a brand new car, had some unfortunate difficulties, and he didn't get any points at all, similar to what Callum Wilson had the year before. So in all those things being there, and then we saw Christopher Coyle do so well, and then unfortunately bashed out or knocked out or crashed out of the A-main on the night that passed. So there's some very fancy drivers that didn't get what they really wanted.
Con, coming up Saturday evening is the WA Speedcar Championship. In my view, probably one of the most open WA Speedcar Championships in recent history.
Well, it's not only that, Graeme, it's also the oldest state title probably in Australia, but definitely in Western Australia. And we've got a field of like a who's who in this Australian Speedway that have come over here to race. And we've got a whole new breed of younger guys that have now are starting to cut their teeth. We've had not a record entry for opening night, but when you see 18 or 20 cars that have made it for the opening night, you can be assured that from the rest of the season, there's a lot more guys yet to come.
Indeed.
We're going to see some pretty special racing.
And Con, when you say 18 or 20 odd cars, 20 odd quality cars this season, aren't they?
Correct.
There's some very good peddlers there. Let's go back and have a look, in fact, at the field, and this is not all of them, but these are the ones that I think may be prominent. We've got Caden Brown back in Perth again from New South Wales for Travis White in the number 38 car. What a good car that is. Graeme Jones has brought back Harry Stewart from Queensland in his Esslinger-powered car. Didn't do so well opening night, uncharacteristically. Keenan Fleming, he's a breath of fresh air now that he's got a decent engine underneath him. Jake Robinson put in a blinder on the opening night, finished third on the podium. Nicholas Rowe, as we know, had engine troubles during the feature, but he showed enough promise early to say that he's one of the favourites. And I understand from Dan Golding that he's going to pop Caden Manders in the 71 speed car. That in itself will be special to watch.
Well, you know, you've picked the cream of the crop, as they say, but look, that is a brilliant field. And of course, Harry Stewart, the young Queenslander, I think he's only just turned 21 now, an apprenticed electrician from Queensland. He is the defending West Australian champion. He's driving for the wily old veteran in Graeme Jones, who's won state and Australian titles, and puts on the racetrack a race car that would go anywhere in the world and be more than competitive. So you look at the field and you've seen young Jake Robinson after a tour to America. I know he only got 50% of his racing in America but because of being washed out. But he showed enough to me on the opening night that he's driving more with his head now than his foot, and he might say that he could create a surprise.
Absolutely. Let's just move across. Oh, beg your pardon. I was going to show you this particular slide now. Let's go and have another crack at it. Oh, doesn't matter.
There it is.
What I was going to say, if we look at the quality of these cars, and I spoke about that earlier in the program, we've got Toyota engines, we've got the GRDs, we've got the Stanton engines, you name it, Esslinger engines, we've got them all. And the quality of cars, particularly these the ones that we've just seen on the screen a while ago, I mean, they're as good as any as you get in the world.
Absolutely. And you know, nothing to Graeme, they're all kids, they're all young men, and not that one would ever want to see a world war by any means, but I remember once a father of the competitor down the Speedway at Claremont said to me, you know, Connor, there's another war, these kids would be a pilot. Well, it's the same goes now in 2025. The young guys that are racing speed cars and sprint cars, they're all pilots, all young, trim. They're elite athletes too. I mean, don't think that you just sit behind the wheel of a speed car, but if you're not, or a sprint car, if you're not physically fit, a speed car in particular, because there's no wing on top of that car to assist you, so you have to be able to drive the car, and they have power steering on their race cars now because just how much G-forces the guy gets himself in the cockpit. And being at the Motorplex, being a pure clay track, horrendous G-forces.
All right, look, let's now go to up to Geraldton. On the weekend, last weekend, they had an event up there, won by Cody Taraccio. This is almost a Cody Taraccio show, isn't it? You know, how good is this guy?
Well, you're dead right, Graeme, but it's not that there's not good cars here in West Australia, but this guy's just got a special mixture at the moment. It's working his way. He dominated the scene last year. He's now started to dominate from the get-go this year, and he's got some strong fields in that, or drivers in that field with young Element who won't be sitting down for longer. Got Reese Cummings, another young kid that you and I think a lot of. We know he's got the ability. And we've seen a couple of the veterans come back, which has been good for our sport. So there's another strong field of race cars.
Now, Cody finished on top in the feature race. Reese Cummings popped his head back up again, the current state champion, and claimed second. And David Sinegra in third place. Good to see David on the podium.
Yeah, well, Dave's got the ability. I think he's got to have a little bit more belief in himself because he's been chipping away at Formula 500s for a long time now, and he must think back, what do I have to do to win a race? Because Taraccio, who was nowhere a couple of years ago, now is up in front. So, yeah, he's got the ability, and we all know that, and he presents a beautiful race car. And I can say that if he wins anything at the Motorplex, it won't surprise me because he's got that sort of ability.
Staying at Geraldton Con and Formula 500s, Max Lang, a junior champion. He's a kid to watch out for in the future, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I said in an earlier show or another show that I do that we do, I should say, he comes from a family from Broome, although they live at Mandurah now, but his father has a huge business up in the Broome area. And this kid's got everything that you want to put into a race car to make it go. So he's a very, very good driver. And I think he's just serving his apprenticeship because when he's old enough, he'll be in one of those things with wings.
Oh,
the big cars, 410s.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's a protege of Callum Williamson, and he just shows that he's got everything you need as a race car driver to me.
And he hangs on every word that every guy says around him. I see him looking at Caden, and I look at Callum, and I know that what he thinks. I can see his little mind ticking over. He's like a blotting paper at the moment, soaking up as much as he can.
Yeah. Con, let's go to a quick break, and we'll come right back after this. Don't go away.
At Maddington Toyota, we're all about great deals, value, quality and service. Head to our website for quality new, demo and pre-owned vehicles with videos so you can find your perfect car. We can organise the details by phone and email and deliver the car right to you. Check out the entire Toyota range, plus a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, all backed by our real commitment to great service. Maddington Toyota, great deals and great service. Oh, what a feeling.
Saturday night is Speedway night. Don't miss a huge night of Super Speedway, the electrical group training Western Ambulance plus WA Speedcar title, Sprintcar's late model Speedcar title and a whole heap more. Dirt track racing at its finest on the nation's best speedway, Super Speedway, Saturday, November 1, racing from 6. Bring your friends, we'll bring the action. Grab your tickets, motorplex.com.au. You'll be there.
Welcome back. You're watching, talking about Speedway. Con Migro and Graeme Sinden with you. Con Migro, we've got a blinder of a meeting coming up this week at the Perth Motorplex. Not only have we got sprint cars in the Western Lapis event, not only have we got the Speedcar state title, but we've also got Wingless returning and making their debut to the Motorplex. So how good is that going to be?
I think we've got every wingless in Australia and some. It's amazing. And I repeat what Gavin told me. He said, Dad, we could run 2 nights just of wingless and probably not supply a track for all of them to race on. That's how big and strong that division is. And I'm looking forward to some of the guys that have been my favourites. I know that I was talking to Fitzy, the radio announcer. He's on the ABC now. And I was talking to him during the week, and he is chafing at the bit to get back to the track again this Saturday night. So it's going to be pretty big.
Before we get there, LSA Keen Quip Championship down at Mandurah. That's the Limited Sprint Car Association. Keen Quip, a big meeting down there. Glenn Dickinson was successful, finished first in the feature race. But Joel Ettrich and Antti Gaudio finished second and third. Cody Nash, who we're looking forward to seeing making his debut in 410 sprint cars, finished fourth.
Yeah, country boys there taking it up the city boys and showing them a thing or two, which is good to see. Dicko, one of my favourite people in Speedway, he's always got a cheeky grin on his face and he's just a pleasure to be around, and it's good to see them all smiling. I'm not too sure about the Beamies boy for the photos, but each his own. But it's a great to see that they're all so happy about doing so well in doing what they want to do, and that's race Speedway.
Mm. And now let's just have a look at this. Ryan Farrell popped his head up and won the 360 LS1 Championship, round one at Mora, that was, I beg your pardon.
Well, what can you say about Ryan Farrell? He's won just about everything in Speedway but an Australian title, and I think he should have. He was probably unfairly dealt with over his career, but a magnificent, awesome race car driver. Jeremy Warren, chipping away slowly, the young boy from Rockingham in second place, and JD Dack, the businessman from Kelmscott area. They are in and look like they are enjoying themselves. I'd love to see Ryan get back to an open sprint car, because I really think, although he's in his 50s, he's still capable. Look, he's fit as a mallee bull, not an ounce of fat on him, and he can handle a sprint car. Don't worry about that.
Not doing bad since he's in retirement, is he?
How many times he's Dame Melly or John Varnum?
Dear. Con, I want to move on to the Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series. We've had one round already, the opening round, Powerpalooza, but coming up, and it's going to happen very quickly, on December the 13th, we're heading down to Albany Speedway. And the reason I wanted to put that slide up, and the reason I wanted to chat to it about you and to viewers, is that if you don't start getting yourself organised and booking accommodation and the like, you won't get in if you want to go down and have a look at some top sprint car racing at Albany.
You've probably heard me say several times, Graeme, that just how much money is generated when we run big shows at the Motorplex, whether it be speed cars, sprint cars or late models. The people that fly into the series last year, where we were sitting in the High Line bar area, we know that there was about 200 people plus there, and every one of them, with the exception of a couple, from interstate or overseas. And this is the same at the country areas. Now, if you don't make your bookings pretty early, you're going to have to drive out there and drive back home, or sleep on the side of the street, which I've done in my earlier days, but as I've got a bit older, I can't do. So Speedway is a huge generator of funds for those towns. Don't make any mistake about that. And I know that the fathers of those cities, if they only realise just how good it really is when it's coming their way with fuel, food, you name it, accommodation, it is a very important part of their year's income.
Yes, indeed. Well, there we are. January 3rd, we've moved on from Albany now. January the 3rd is Bunbury Speedway. Perhaps not quite so bad as far as accommodation, because it is drivable if the meeting finishes on time at around 10:30. By the time you have a little wander through the pits and one, you get on the road at 11. You know, you're home at,
2 o'clock?
Yeah, something like that, 1:30 thereabouts. So you can get away with it, but from a safety point of view, fatigue and all that, you need to start thinking about accommodation even in Bunbury, in my view. And then, of course, there's a double header up in Geraldton on the 28th of February and then the 1st of March, and capped off by the final meeting the 22nd of March in Kalgoorlie. So in my view, you should book accommodation for all those events if you're serious about sprint car racing and want to go and have a look at some top events at some different tracks.
Unless you win lotto and you can afford to get a private car to drive you back up. But so if you're a mere mortal like Graeme and I, you'll have to book your accommodation well in advance. And it's also very exciting. It gives you an opportunity to get away from the Motorplex. And not that I say I want to get away from the Motorplex because I love the place, but it gives you an opportunity just how good we've got Speedway in West Australia. And I know that the government in power at the moment, they understand what's happening. And I do know that the retailers in those towns are going to feel it very well in their pockets this year.
And Con, coming up, as you know, on our radio show, The Spirit of Speedway, SCN Radio Network 621, we've got our buoyant upseller Sprint Car Driver of the Year. So that's an exciting event already. It's starting to generate a lot of interest with fans and drivers alike. Boy and Upseller Sprintcar Driver of the Year in conjunction with the Spirit of Speedway on SEN Radio Network 621. Something to look forward to.
I know, like you know, that people are very excited about that. The award is a very special one, and some cash and some beautiful trophies. And also there is one of the late, great Michael Figlamini's trophies that's just going to be rebadged for the winner of the series. So in all, this event has a huge amount of prestige and an enormous amount of feeling to win this particular one. So it's not going to be a Mickey Mouse show. This is going to be right on, or it's already got right on from the get-go.
Absolutely. Just to recap, and for those viewers that may not have tuned in last week, the votes for the Boy and Upseller Sprintcar Driver of the Year are awarded on a 3-2-1 basis. 3 judges, a total of 6 votes each, so there's a total of 18 votes awarded, and the votes are cast on all Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series, including the regional events conso. And I, as we spoke about, I had huge issues and trouble trying to select my 3-2-1.
Well, you're not Robinson Crusoe, Graeme. I was the same. I agonised over it for considerable hours. When I get home from a speedway, I find it very hard to sleep, so I got out in the early hours of the morning and I was going through, and I think there was about a dozen people that I could have easily voted on, but we had to only get a 3-2-1, so it's a difficult task. And I'm only just one of the voters. We have yourself, and we have another independent guy that also provides his votes to us as well.
Moving on, Con, 1 o'clock on Wednesdays, we have our Let's Talk Speedway program on 91.3 Sport FM. That's at 1 o'clock, as I said, and that show is repeated at 8 o'clock on Wednesday evening. And then on 2 o'clock Friday, we have our Sports Entertainment Spirit of Speedway show, 6:21am down in Bunbury. And that will be where we talk about the votes for the Sprint Car Driver of the Year award.
Yes, the SEN show covers about 90% of the state. It's got a huge. We're even up in Kalgoorlie now, which is fantastic for us and for the fans to know what's going on behind the scenes, because it's top news and views from a couple of guys that know a thing or two about the sport of speedway.
Well, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, our special guest, Kris Coyle. Don't go away.
Saturday night is Speedway night. Don't miss a huge night of Super Speedway, the electrical group training Western Atlas plus WA Speedcar title, Sprint Cars, late model Speedcar title, and a whole heap more. Dirt track racing at its finest on the nation's best speedway, Super Speedway, Saturday, November 1, racing from 6. Bring your friends. We'll bring the action. Grab your tickets, motorplex.com.au. You'll be there.
Well, welcome back, our special guest, Kris Coyle. Welcome to the program, Kris. Now, Kris, you're running a new Maxim chassis this year. Did you have to adapt to that, or is it similar to what you were running, and did Jono set it up for you as you like? You had a couple of practices and then you had opening night. Where are you at with that so far? It seems to be performing well for you.
Yeah, it was really good straight out of the box. I know, I know we're all sort of a bit, not nervous, but we're just sort of wondering what it was going to do. And from the get-go, we went to, the first practice night, and I think we were the quickest car in our group every time we hit the track, and that went from a hooked-up track to a pretty slick track on that first opening practice night. So, yeah, from the get-go, it's been really good. And, went to the second practice where the track was quite grippy. Like, they put a lot more water into it from that first one, and it was just foot flat for the leader. Like, we were just all sort of, everyone's at that same sort of pace when it's like that. But come race night, when the track slowed down a bit, we were still good. So happy with how the progress has been going, moving into a new frame, and what Jono's been doing to it, all the little 1%ers. It's adding up.
Hey, Kris, I believe it's happy birthday for this week. You've turned a magical number, 35 years of age. So happy birthday from all of us in Speedway.
No, thank you. Yeah, 35 years young.
Yeah, and he looks young.
He does, yeah. He looks about 15.
Yeah. Good job, old boys. Yeah.
Compared to us two.
Kris, I was going to ask you, Maddington Toyota is a long game, I know. You've had a DNF. Does that mentally put you on the back foot, I can't afford too many of those now, I've got to keep on being consistent and so on, or do you just go out and take every race as it is and enjoy every race?
Yeah, you need to enjoy every race. I think the points sort of look after themselves. I'm not one for points racing too much. I think we've always been on the back foot at the start of every season, and we've sort of got to work our way back up to it. So it is in the back of your mind, but you can't let that thing slow you down. They are called sprint cars after all. So.
And we're talking about racing and crashes and little things like that and new cars, but this year you've also got a crew chief towards the end of last season who happens to be your younger brother. Now you've had that, and you've had this off season to get yourself ready, and now you're back racing, and he's already had the mammoth task of repairing a car. How's he going as a crew chief, and how do you feel with him being your crew chief?
Oh, it's excellent. Yeah, I just obviously can't thank Scott enough for that opportunity to get Jono on as a crew chief. I was doing everything myself pretty much prior to Jono coming along, so it's just a lot of weight lifted off my shoulders, and I can not worry about shocks and bars and spares, and making sure we're gonna have enough stuff in the trailer. So it's all up to Jono now, and it just gets me in a lot better mindset and relaxed. I think I'm not sort of worrying about the setup more on the car. I just sort of give the feedback. Jono makes the changes, and I just go out there and do my thing.
There's a lot of trust required between a driver and a crew chief. I mean, they're nearly like your wife to a certain extent. When you consider when you consider that you're at the racetrack, you have to give them your intimate details or referrals about the race car, what it's not doing or what it is doing, and what you would like to have it do. So you have to. He has to really be able to be like a psychiatrist to be with you as well as a doctor, and also keep you pumped up so that when you go out on the racetrack, you're still going.
Yeah, and the rest of the crew, everyone pumping you up. You don't want anyone putting you down. So, it's all positive. It's all positive vibes. Everyone's doing their thing, and we're gelling really well. And I hope our speed and our sort of success from the opening night will continue through just from all those little 1%ers that we've changed through the year.
Now, your car owner Scott Chatwin, I've known him for a considerable amount of years, but I don't know him as well as you do. He seems to be a really nice guy. I call him a big teddy bear, but he's a big, tall man, 6'4", and he's full of muscle, as they say. But he's a good guy to drive for, isn't he?
Oh, he's excellent. Yeah, he's obviously one of my good mates now as well. So this is our 6th year now together, and from what it's come to, what we started with to now is just next level. And he's so good to drive for. He's not he's driven himself, so he knows what can happen out there on the track, and he's always the first one to come up and say, pat me on the shoulder, like, good job, mate. So he's an awesome fella to drive for, and obviously just can't thank him enough for the opportunity. So I hope we can sort of reward him a little bit this year.
Why not? Kris, Bunbury's included in the Maddington Toyota Sprintcar series again this year. You've had a bit of success down there, and then you're off to Albany, Kalgoorlie and Geraldton. What's your thoughts on 4 country meetings during the Maddington Toyota series this year?
That's excellent. We everyone will say the same thing. I think we enjoy going to those little bull ring tracks where it's you got to someone gives an inch, you're going to take a mile. So
I don't believe that one.
No,
Sorry,
not at all. But it's a different driving style. You get so used to the Motorplex. So and it'd be good for the crew chiefs as well, because they've got to think about what to do
and good for the towns too.
Good for the towns. Good for the amount of money that's going to be spent over the bar at Wilson's in Albany. I think it's going to be a good one on the Friday night. So, all that sort of stuff. There's lots of backstories to the different towns. Geraldton's got Callum, Albany's got the Wilson's Brewery, Kalgoorlie's got Taylor Milling. So, there's
Bunbury's got
obviously the cricket
Dainty
team,
shot,
and
the cricket,
Malloy's right there. So, there's lots of positives to it all for everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
And talking about Bunbury, we've got Brad Blake down there, and then Jamie Oldfield doing some curating and track work. So with a new surface, that should be a different environment to race for on it.
Yeah, that's awesome that Jamie O is involved down there now. Like, he does an awesome job at Allenbrook. and to, you know, obviously him being in that position now after selling their business, he's got a bit more time on his hands. And then when they announced that he's going to be the track curator, I was like, wow, there's no one better for that. So, yeah, funny story actually. I was talking to Brad Blake last week, and I said to him straight up, I was like, where'd you get the clay from? And he said, yeah, they pretty much went back to the source from 40 odd years ago, and there's a big pile sitting next door, and turns out that's it. So yeah, there was a cool story to all that as well. So really pumped for Bunbury to get some new dirt in there, and Jamie and Brad and everyone on the Bunbury Car Club. So Brad was showing me videos of how much they've been taken out, and diggers, and you know, I think it was 8,000 tonne of dirt, I think he said.
Yeah, they start in January in Bunbury, don't they?
Yeah, January 1 New Year's Day, I think, is when we're there. So, looking forward to that, and hopefully that'll be a good thing, and more races there come next season.
For sure.
Well, Kris, it's been a great thrill to have you here on the program with us. We wish you well for the Western Atlas, and then subsequently the King of Wings, and I think you've also had a bit of success with that. So best wishes for the season.
High limits.
And high limits, of course.
Yeah.
So best wishes for the season. You've started out like a rocket ship, a bit of bad luck on the feature race, but your start to the season was just absolutely brilliant. So thanks for your time, and we look forward to your company again soon.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us.
Well, there we are, Kris Coyle, our special guest on Talking About Speedway. We look forward to your company this time next week. Bye for now.